Lots of water elevators, all with different functions and different capabilities. Some are very simple, some are very complicated, all quite useful. Also, all over the place on YouTube. You won't believe how long it took for me to compile this, but it was quite worth it. And I figured here, I might as well share it with you guys so that you don't have to go trudging through all of the videos to figure it out. Unless you want to build it, then you're going to have to go listen to the tutorial on building it. I am merely a guide to say this exists. So the first that exists when it comes to Minecraft elevators is probably the most basic. The one that everyone talks about and everyone kind of knows about. What you do is you have a bunch of source water blocks that go from where you are up to where you want to go, power it by soul sand. Then when you hop in, you're at the top. Nice and simple. To get down from here, you can either fall off and lose all your stuff, or you just fall down a hole with water at the bottom. Very simple. These come in different form factors. For instance, here's a 2x1 form factor. In this case, you have a magma block on one side and you have soul sand on the other. And then from here, you can go up and then go down. The magma block pulls you down, which makes it nice and simple. This is for those who like synergy in their designs and they don't like an open hole, kind of for the downside. However, there is a risk of getting damaged and you need 2 layers of source blocks, so that could be an issue. For those who want to have a form factor in one, but still have the up and going down, here's a lateral version. In this case, you go up, or you can open up the trapdoor to get out, and then you're up here. And then when you want to get back down, fall, you're good. Nice and simple. Keeps it nice and tight in form factor, at the cost of lots and lots of signs. Here is a fourth option. This one I actually found on the server that I play on. This was in the middle of a sorting system. It wasn't a sorting system. This is the setup. You have glass going all the way up, which keeps the water source blocks in. This way you can go up, and due to it being a 4x4 minus the glass, it makes it simple to go back down on the other side. So it has a nice little synergy to it, and it's nice and compact. So the last of the basic water elevators that I want to highlight is this design right here. I'm calling it the idiot-proof design. It's perfect for if you're playing on servers, especially when you're playing with people who tend to be accident-prone. And the way it works is very simple. The best way to explain this is to briefly go over how water works. In Minecraft, when you put down a water source block, it will naturally start flowing. It will flow to the closest air block. It does try to navigate to the lowest point. So if I broke this right here, you can see it will start navigating and go straight down. But for the most part, it always tries to go to an open air block. Now, when you place down 2 water source blocks that are adjacent to an air block, what happens is both of these will flow into this air block and convert it into a water source block. By doing so, effectively, this gives you infinite water. And this is prominently used in many, many builds. I think everybody kind of knows this. Now this is very useful, especially when it comes to elevators, because sometimes you might have a user accidentally drop a block. They could be eating while they're going up, and then they accidentally drop a torch, or many, many things. And as such, what ends up happening usually is you end up putting in a lot of effort to fix this problem, trying to find out, okay, where did which source block is missing? But with this setup, as soon as you fix the damage, as in the dropped block, because we have these 2 water source blocks right next to each other, it will automatically fix it for you. And thus, you have a self-correcting water elevator, which is very useful. So if you're going to build a water column elevator, I would highly recommend using this idiot-proof setup. It will save you tons of headache. So one of the big issues with this setup, as you can see, is they all kind of go to a single destination. You start at wherever you want to go, and you go directly to where that elevator heads. There's no floors at all. So if I wanted to go halfway between the bottom and the top, that's not really possible here. Largely because the water elevators, they just have so much force behind it. I mean, they literally drag you up. And unless you're very good at squeezing through pixels, your odds are you're going to miss your exit. And because of this, I ended up going online and looking to see if I could find other elevators that could be used for going to different floors. The first one that I ended up finding is from the user called Lombi. Lombi had an elevator design which was designed specifically to go to different floors. As you can see here, we have 2 floors and we have a hub. So first floor, which would be that one, Currently, our redstone is pointing toward it. So you can see on the frame, our little ticker is pointing there. So when I hop in, I stopped at the first floor. All right, now let's go to the second one. Just simply flick it. You can hear that redstone activated. And now I'm on the second floor. And if I want to go back down, I can just hop down and go through. If you want to know more about Lombi's setup, you can go watch his video to explain it. But the main point is that the redstone is fairly simple, as you can see. And it can go to different floors, which is very nice. However, one of the big issues I found with it is that this setup, there's actually no real way to go to a different floor without going back to the very bottom. The selection tile is right here on the ground floor. So if I want to go to the second floor and then to the first floor, I have to first select the second floor. I then head up to the second floor. Then I want to go to the first floor, so I have to go all the way back down to ground. Change it to the first floor. And then go. This does work, but it's very inconvenient. So I ended up continue looking around. From here, I found a user by the name of Crafty Masterman. Here you can see we're on ground floor. I want to go to the second floor. Then you can hit the button. And the water column propagates. And then we can go up. We're at the second floor. Now let's head down. We'll go to the first floor. Now let's head back to ground. There we go. As you can see, Crafty Masterman, it had a very elegant design. You can actually head to different floors. All of the different floors have their own buttons that you can press to go to. It seemed like a very nice design. If you check out the redstone, it is very complicated. Yeah, that is a very arduous process to set this up. But the fun part here is this setup right here. As you can see, he has ended up using these walls. So when you click the wall, you can see that the wall will automatically change because there's a block touching it. This can actually be observed by observers. And as such, with this elegant design, you can effectively propagate a signal from however high you want all the way down to a control mechanism. So I push the button, the redstone will go, oh, the last button that was pressed was ground, and thus it will change all the redstone for you. The last button that was pressed was second floor, and then it will remember for you. So this was a very fun setup, so I thought I should try and use it on Lombi's design, because of the fact that Lombi's design uses pure water columns. And I wanted to be able to go between the different floors. What I ended up doing was compromising and using a whole lot of dispensers. Each dispenser has a water bucket. This setup is for only those who hate themselves, because that is an awful lot of iron and a lot of water buckets. But with this design, I can now press the button. I can go through to the different floors. And granted, we're using somewhat of a very similar design, in the sense that we're still using dispensers in order to go up and down. We're using a lot more dispensers though, but it was trying to keep in similar vein of what Lombi designed. Because I've found Crafty Masterman's design and Lombi's, I thought, you know what, it would be kind of fun to combine both of them together and make a luxurious, ultra-wide elevator. Hence, this abomination. And as you can see here, it's a 3-column water elevator that when I push a button, I can effectively have 3 columns that go up into whichever floor I would like. Now we can go up to the second floor. And then up we go. And then lastly, I can hit the button again and go all the way down. It's a very nice design. I still haven't figured out a way what to do here other than use these trapdoors. But for the most part, this works very well. Now, one of the issues that I've had, let me show you. Alright, so if you remember, in order to create this water source block, you have to have 2 adjacent water source blocks. So this air block needs to have 2 adjacent water source blocks in order to become a water block. And one of the problems is, if you just tried to make this a double wide, then you would end up having 2 air blocks side by side, and what would happen is you'd just get water flowing into each other. So because of that, this is why I had to make it 3 wide, hence why we have a lot of dispensers with water buckets in them. But with this design, you effectively have a nice CEO-style entrance. This actually works pretty well. Redstone-wise, I just expanded it a bit so that we could activate the dispensers So it's not really much of a change. And the main core unit, the tracking, is still the same. In fact, this tracking system right here is so powerful that I just started trying to use it in all my builds. Like, that's super useful. So as you can see here, these are quite useful designs. However, one of the big problems is that they take up an awful lot of resources. So I ended up looking a little bit more to see if I could find something a bit more simple. And I ended up finding HKStashPanda's design. If you look, he's using honey blocks that line a water column. The nice thing about honey blocks is that they're not a full block. When you kind of get in here, your hitbox can actually make it slightly into this block over here. Our hitbox can enter the water column, and by doing so, we can be dragged up. This allows you to have a column where you can kind of slide down with the honey and then go up, or with this water column. And then if you want to get out, you can push a redstone button. I added the redstone button because I was having difficulty getting out. But yeah, this is a very elegant design. All you need is honey and a water column. Now, one of the things that you kind of notice is that for his design, it was you start where you are and then you're going to a location. So I thought I would try and see if I could set it up so that I could go between the different columns. Hence why this setup right here, where you do have the different floors, as you can see, and we can hop off. This is also an edge design that will allow you to, there we go, extended. But yeah, as you can see, with this design, if we want to go to a particular floor, we just go up, and then we can hop out. Now, if we want, we can continue going up. Oh yeah, the water column ends here. There we go. And then we can get out. Nice. And then when we want to get back down, we just fall. So one of the things I thought was, is it possible to potentially add a bit of redstone in there? So I ended up trying to modify this a bit and add in more redstone. And this is kind of what I came up with. If you go in, you have a button you can push to get out. Oh, I always mess this up. You go in, you push the button, then you can hop out. And then likewise, if you want to go to the next floor, you can hit the button, you can go up. And then likewise, you can then hit the buttons and come back out. And then when you want to go back down, you can slide, hit the button, and you're out. A very nice design with redstone. One of the problems is that you have to stop at each floor, but it does give you the benefit of preventing yourself from messing up. I wanted to have fun adding some redstone to this, so I added redstone to it. Because you can't finish a design setup without trying to make it a double wide. There's just something about a double wide elevator which just always has so much, it looks so much more inviting. In this particular case, you can see it's just 2 water columns next to a bunch of honey blocks. And because of the fact that these are protected and separated, you don't have to worry too much. And then likewise, you can hit a button. Oh, likewise, you can hit a button, and then you can hop out. So one of the things you might notice is that I have obsidian here, and I have chests. And the reason largely why is because you can kind of see it right here. Honey blocks are sticky. Because of that, they will always be pulling and dragging whatever they're next to. And naturally, obsidian, it cannot be dragged. And because chests are entities, they cannot be dragged either. Now, one of the problems with trying to put obsidian everywhere is that obsidian is a full block. And because of this, if I tried to use it here at this chest, it would push us out of this water column, and we would never be able to go up beyond that. And because a chest is not a full block, a honey block is not a full block, they just work well together to keep this little corner here, keeps it consistent for you. So if you want to have a double wide for Minecraft MC setup, there you go. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to go through all of the mechanics behind these. If you want to learn about them, go check their videos out. After going through all of these and looking at the options that I could find on YouTube, I actually decided to throw my hat in and try and make something myself. Hence this abomination right here. Actually, it's quite nice. So what it is it's basically a water elevator, a lot like Minecraft, or a lot like, I forgot your name. So this is a water elevator. I've taken cues from Crafty Masterman setup. I tried to modify it so that we have 2 rows of buttons. So I can shrink the amount of real estate that is needed for activating this column. So as you can see here, we have currently ground. If I want to go to 5th floor, I can hit the button. You can see the setup. Now we go up. And here we are. We're at the 5th floor. Let's go to the 2nd floor now. Setup. Let's go. And here we are. And then finally, let's go back down the ground. As you can see, these buttons work. If I want to go to the top floor, I can hit the button and it'll send me all the way up. If I want to go to the 2nd floor, I can hit the button and it'll send me there. And if I want to go back to ground, I can hit it and it'll take me all the way back down. And this was a giant bloody pain to figure out. Let me show you the redstone abomination that it is right here. Look at this. What is going on here? I guess it's better to explain it. Let me show you the stripped out version. So what's going on here is you can see that these pistons here on the left, they're tracking the row. So here, this is the top row. And then when I push this button here, it's the bottom row. These pistons here are tracking the columns. So if I push this button, you can see the center one is fired. If I push this one, that one is fired. And then likewise, this one, that one is fired. With these 2 pistons, what ends up happening is we can actually track exactly which button is pressed. For the JIT basic setup, we have observers that are watching these different repeaters. And when we push the button, this observer will acknowledge that the repeater went off. It'll activate piston, and then the piston will just shoot out its block. If I push this button here, that it's activating this note block, this observer will activate this piston, will shoot its block out. But also, because of the fact that this note block has other sides, we have another observer that's watching it, which will then activate and send out the top block. All right, so with that in mind, I'm tracking which buttons are being pressed. This is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3. And then at the top, this is the upper buttons, so this is the top row. And then here, this is the bottom row. And if you go all the way down, what you can see is we have the 2 tracking system that is from Crafty Masterman setup. And this is tracking which row we're on, and this is tracking which column. And then through the sheer power of redstone math and tracking the rows and the columns, we have this setup here, which allows me to effectively pick a floor, go all the way there. There we go. Quite nice. If you like this type of video, be sure to like and subscribe and let me know. I'm having fun just doing everything, so if you enjoy this, let me know and I'll make more. Otherwise, I'm going to probably faff about with other stuff. Until then, have a good one.